kind and your patient nature.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, Strands of Grace. Thank you once again for tuning in. So guys, today is going to be a much different and serious video. I am going to be talking to y'all about 7 red flags in relationships. And just because I'm talking about 7 red flags doesn't mean that there are only 7. There are probably so many more, maybe hundreds more. I don't know, but there are definitely more than 7. But I really wanted to speak to y'all on this topic because this is something that I have personal experience with. So I'm not only coming to you from a place of wisdom, but I'm coming from a place of experience as well. I was actually in an abusive relationship, and I have been out of that abusive relationship for almost 3 years in March. So excited about that. So I have learned a whole lot. So I'm doing this video in hopes that somebody may see it who is in an abusive relationship and doesn't know it, or doesn't know how to get out, or doesn't know the signs. I know personally, when I was in my abusive relationship, I didn't really figure it out until I was out of the relationship, until me and my ex-boyfriend had broken up. I had never been in an abusive relationship before, and so my mind was just not wrapping around the fact that I was in an abusive relationship. My mind couldn't really fathom what was going on, and there was a part of me that was also justifying my ex-boyfriend's actions. Actually, there was a huge part of me that was justifying his actions. And so oftentimes when you are in a relationship like that, it can be hard to get past denial initially, especially if you haven't been in it before. And so I want to start this by saying also that I am not a counselor or anything like that. I am just a woman who has been through this, and I want to share my experience, and I want to share some red flags that I experienced in my relationship that can hopefully help you. So before we get into the video, I want to say that, you know, especially in the Christian community, we can hear about couples who were once a toxic, abusive couple, and the Lord healed them. They both did a 180 because they both decided to walk with God and turn around the relationship and also stay together. And although this is very inspiring, although this is very cool how the Lord can work, oftentimes that is not going to be your story. And so I know this kind of sounds like, dang, Hannah, really? Yeah, oftentimes it's not going to be. And one of the things that kept me in the relationship that I was in is because I had heard some stories about, oh, well, this couple went through this and they got through it and now they're good and now they're in ministry, or now they're this power couple. That is a rare case. Most of the time, these couples do not need to stay together. And I had to let go of that kind of thought and dream for that relationship that I had, because the reality is it was not a healthy relationship. And I also want to say that the red flags that I'm going to mention are not only for abusive relationships, but they can go for toxic relationships, and they can go for just unhealthy relationships. Sometimes the person doesn't have to be beating on you or be super verbally abusive in order for the relationship to not be a healthy relationship for you to be in. So the first red flag is if the person you are with does not respect your morals, values, beliefs, and standards. And so first of all, I want to say that the respect part is the minimum requirement. The person that you're with should at the minimum respect your beliefs, your values, your morals, and your standards. But more than respect all of these things, they should also believe these things. So you want somebody who will respect and protect. And if they are not doing these things, then that is a huge red flag. So the second red flag is if your self-esteem diminishes. So if this person is constantly putting you down, if this person is constantly criticizing you, if this person is constantly having something negative to say about you or towards you, to the point where you are internalizing all of these things and your self-esteem is diminishing, then that is a red flag. So the third red flag is if this person disregards your feelings. So if this person just doesn't value what you have to say, if you are vulnerable with them and they don't validate your feelings in the least bit, you know, this is a red flag. Now, the person you're with does not have to agree with everything you say. Nobody is going to agree with everything somebody says, but your feelings should be heard and your feelings should be validated and your feelings should be dealt with in love, even if some conclusions that you are coming to are wrong. You should always be dealt with in love. And if you feel like this person is constantly spewing negativity, never taking what you're saying into consideration, then that is a huge red flag. So the next red flag is if you feel like you're settling and if the flaw that you see in this person is a non-negotiable for you. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has their flaws, but we all know that we have some non-negotiables that we just don't want in a person. And so if you find yourself settling in that area where you wouldn't normally settle, then that is a red flag. So if this person is verbally and physically abusive, then that is a huge red flag. And usually when we think of abusive relationships, we usually think of verbally and physically abusive. If this person is constantly putting you down, constantly calling you out your name, constantly saying mean things to you, constantly just degrading you, then that is a red flag. Another red flag is if this person is controlling, if they try to keep you away from your friends and your family, and your friends and your family are good for you, your friends and your family care about you, and especially they're noticing that you are being pulled away more and more, that is a huge red flag. Oftentimes, people who are not good for you want to isolate you. They may want you to become emotionally and physically dependent on them. That is a huge, huge, huge red flag. Okay guys, so I think I'm on the 7th red flag, but my 7th red flag is if this person discourages your dreams and your goals. So if this person is constantly putting you down, constantly telling you that what you are dreaming is unreachable, constantly just being super negative, and they could even be discouraging your dreams and your goals by just not being motivated with their own life, just being lazy, being unwilling to work with you, being unwilling to contribute, that is a discouragement to your dreams and your goals as well. So y'all, these are just 7 red flags that you can run into in a relationship. And if you are in an abusive, toxic, unhealthy relationship, I just want to let you know that my heart goes out to you, and I pray that you find the courage to get out of it. I pray that, you know, you find a community of people who are going to stand around you and just support you. And even if it's just one person that can stand with you and support you, I really just pray that you have some support. And I also want to say, y'all, that counseling is so helpful. After I got out of my abusive relationship, I went to counseling, and it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies right off the bat. Y'all, I was still in denial. I was in denial hardcore. I wasn't even fully processing what I had been through, and I was hoping that me and my boyfriend would get back together. Yeah, so these experiences take a toll on your mind, and it is so good to be able to process these things and to be able to slowly work through the traumas and the hurts and the things that you didn't even know affected you. And so I'm a huge advocate for counseling. If you can't afford counseling, just find someone who you can confide in. Find someone who you think is not a biased person, or you can find someone who just genuinely cares about you, who wants to hear your story, who wants to walk with you through this thing. So yeah guys, thank you for listening, and yeah, I pray that y'all have successful relationships. I pray that if you haven't been in something like this, I pray that you won't experience it. And I pray that if you have, that God is continuing to heal your heart. And I pray that if you are in it right now, that you will find the courage to break free. So thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.